Hi there, my name's Cathi Barker from Software Solutions, and in this video we're going to look at the charting side of Excel, and we might even come in through a dashboard approach to charting. Really, we've used our functions in this Level 2 course to analyse the data and get results, but now we have to present that information to people, and for them to quickly absorb those data insights, charting is a really effective tool. Let's start by going back to one of our earlier sheets in our Excel Level 2 file. I'm just going to right click the two triangles and I'm just going to select the sheet, first if, and OK. So I want to create a financial dashboard. And I'm going to use charts on my dashboard. In fact, I'm going to create 3 charts, maybe more. First of all, to create a dashboard, what we want to do is insert a new sheet. So we've got our little circle and our plus here to insert a new sheet. And then I'm going to double click its name and just call it Finance Dashboard. And I might even type that also in A1. And I'll make it a little bit larger so it looks dashboard-esque. Now also, because it is a dashboard, I want to get rid of the grid lines and I want to get rid of A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3 because that's not very dashboard-esque either. So I'm going to go into View and I'm going to take off the grid lines and I'm going to take off the headings. And now it's starting to look like a dashboard. Okay, let's create our first chart. We go to First If. First thing I want to do is create a pie chart of the budget. So I select B2 to C14. It's really important that you select the correct range when you create a chart. Otherwise, you're just going to get rubbish. So I need the words months and budget in my selection so that they are part of the chart. Now, the fastest way to create a chart is to press the function key on your keyboard. And so on the keyboard at the top here where you've got all your function keys, I'm going to press F11. F11 immediately charts whatever cells you have selected. Now when it comes and it puts it in a new sheet, and this new sheet is now sitting in front of the sheet you were in, which was First If, and it calls it Chart 1. Now once you create your chart, I think the best thing you can do is look up at the Chart Design tab in your ribbon. Everything you're going to need regarding the chart is in the Chart Design tab. So if you get out of that tab, you need to click back on the chart and get back to it. As soon as you press F11, I think the best thing to do is to change your chart type. Do that right away. So that's this button here, or feel free to right click and change the chart type. But I'm going to go for this button. Now, as far as your chart types go, your column charts and your bar charts are great for comparative data. Whereas your pie charts and your tree maps and even your donuts are good, and sunbursts are good for showing a proportion. And that's what we're doing, a proportion of the budget. But if you're showing trends, then you really want to go for, say, a line chart. And if you're showing correlations, you really want a line chart or area chart. If you're showing correlations, then you want to go for an XY chart. So the chart that you choose is important. You've got to choose the right chart for the right message. Column and bar for comparison, line and area for trends, pie and tree map and sunburst for proportions, XY scatter for correlation, and increases and decreases would be waterfall, and stages in a process would be funnel. So choose the right chart type. I'm going to go for a pie chart, and then across the top here you have subtypes. There's your donut, for example. I'm going to go for a 3D pie, and OK. So that's my chart type chosen. That's that button. I think the next logical step would be to have a look at your quick layouts. They probably could arrange these buttons in a better order. But go to quick layout, and as you roll over each layout, and each different type of chart will have a different number of layouts, but layout 1 includes a chart title and a value and a percentage data label, and you can see the value and the percentage data label. Whereas chart 2 includes a chart title, a legend at the top, and a percentage data label only. And as you roll over each one, you can see what they look like. And my suggestion would you would choose which looks the best. Now the one that gets me closest to where I want to be, I think, is probably layout number 1. So I'm going to choose layout number 1. Having chosen the chart type and the quick layout, I would then think about the colors. Change colors gives you 4 palettes: color palette 1, color palette 2, color palette 3, color palette 4, and then some monochromatic colors. When it comes to colors, you need to think about things like 1 in 10 men, last time I googled it, 1 in 10 men, 10% of the male population is colorblind. So try to stay away from your reds, your greens and your oranges. Easier said than done. So choose a color palette. I might just go for this bluish mustardy type one, color palette 2. Now, once you've done your color, you change your colors, I think the next logical step would be your chart styles. And as you roll over each of these styles, you can see what they look like. And even if I hit the more button, eventually the colors catch up too. If I hit the more button, there's actually a couple more under here. There's style number 10, style number 9. I'm going to ask for style number 8 to be chosen. So change your chart type, choose your quick layout, choose your color, choose your style. Once you've done that, then I think you need to think about your chart elements. Now, the chart element button is also replicated in this green plus. I think, for example, that I want to see not only the percentage for each month, but the actual value, because percentages can be misleading if you don't see the value as well. So I'm going to hit the green plus, and I need to customize my data labels. And here, if I hit this little chevron, I can go into more options. When I go into more options, I can say, look, I don't only want to see the category name, which is the month and the percentage, but I want to see the value as well. So now I'm given a bit of context to the percentage. So I've formatted my data labels and I can close that now. If I go back into the green plus, I could ask for a legend and I can just rest on it to see what that looks like, but I really don't need the legend because it's encapsulated in the data labels, so I don't need that. And the chart title, I'm actually going to edit it and just say budget by month. So that is my green plus. Those are your chart elements. The paintbrush really is just another way that you can get at the styles and get at the colors, which we did up here with the colors and the styles. So that's nothing new. And the funnel really, if I want to exclude certain things from the pie chart, I can untick them and then hit apply, and it will filter the chart and only show me, say, the last 6 months or what have you. I'm happy with this chart. I would like to now move this chart, and actually before I move it, I might actually explode some of these slices. Obviously my biggest budget was in December and January. If I click once on the December slice, I actually acquire a little circle around every single slice. But if I click once again on the December slice, now I've honed in on that December slice. And if I slightly drag it up, I've pulled that slice out. And if I click on the January slice, it's honed in on it, and pull that up, I've pulled, whoops, I did the wrong one, undo, undo, click, pull, and I've pulled the January slice out. Might pull the December slice out a bit more. And so I've pulled those two slices out because I want to accentuate that they had the larger portion of the budget in those social months. Now this I want to put on my dashboard. So I use the Move Chart button. The Move Chart button says you want it to be a new sheet. No, it already is called Chart 1. I want it to be an object in the sheet called Finance Dashboard, and OK. And now it moves and becomes an object, see Chart 1's gone, in the sheet called Finance Dashboard, and I can just resize it accordingly. You can continue to make as many changes as you want because notice you still have chart design at the top. All you've done is just moved it from being a separate sheet to being part of a dashboard sheet. Let's make a second chart. I'm going to go back to first if. This time I want to select B2 to B14, hold the control key and choose D2 to D14. When I press F11, these are the actual values as opposed to the budget values. Immediately, I want to change my chart type. And I might go for, what do I want to go for here? I might actually even just leave it as a column chart. I will. I'm going to leave it as a column chart. I'll choose my quick layout and I'll just roll over them, and you decide which one you like the best. I might just go for layout 4. Then I'll choose my colors. And I might go for a purple. Then I roll over my styles and decide which style I like the best. And there's more. And I might choose that style. Then I'll go into my green plus. What do I need to do here? I think I don't need a legend. That's the legend up there. I don't need it, so I'll turn the legend off. I think I do need a chart title, so I'll tick that and I'll put actual sales. Oh no, actual expenditure by month. What else do I need? Data labels, yes, they're there, though just to be different, I might turn the data labels off and instead have a data table. And so the table is at the bottom here. Grid lines, I've got horizontal, I'm happy with that. So now I'm going to move that chart and make it an object on my finance dashboard, and OK. And then I'll just move the chart. Let me just bring this up a little bit and pop it under here. And I'll just take that down a bit. And so there's my actual expenditure. Now the third chart I want to do is to compare my actual versus my budget. So I'm going to go back to first if, and this time I want to select B2 to D14, hold the control key, and F2 to F14. So I'm basically just leaving out column E. I'll press F11, and then I can see my budget in blue, my actual in red, and my status in green according to my legend. So then I decide on my chart type, but again, I think I quite like that chart type. I could mix them up. Let's go change chart type. Let's go combo. Let's make budget a line with markers. Let's make actual a line with markers. And let's make status a column, a clustered column. So you can choose your chart types and make each series a different type. You can mix up your chart types. You can make each series a different chart type if you choose combo. So I'll go OK to that. So now my budget's a line. So if my actual, which is the red line, is above my budget, then I've overspent. Let's change the chart type actually. If my actual, let's make actual a column as well. If my actual, which is now a bar, a column, exceeds my budget line, I've overspent. So mix them up until you give a clear message. All right. Having chosen my chart type, I can now choose my colors. I might just go for a monochromatic palette 5. I can also choose a quick layout, which I don't think I need to change my layout because I'm pretty happy with it as it is. So I'm just going to leave that as is. A style, I'm just going to roll over the styles and see what they look like. Quite like that one. Yeah, I'm going for that one. I'll edit my title and say budget versus actual and status. And I can move that if I wish just by dragging it. All right. I might decide if I hit my green plus that I want to put data labels on, but I only want to put data labels on my status. So I click on status, I go to data labels and tick it. And notice how it only puts data labels on the status. So if you only want to put it on a certain series, just click a certain series. I would like to forecast. If, for example, this actual bar, let me click it, was my expenditure for those 12 months, I'd like to forecast what my expenditure is likely to be for the next 12 months. So I'll go to trend line and hit this little chevron and more options. I want a linear trend line and I want to go forward 12 periods, which is 12 months. And so my trend line shows me that it's actually been on a decline. When you take out the highs and lows, my actual expenditure on average has been going down. Maybe 12 months is too much. Let's do 6 months. Yeah. And so here it says my linear actual, and I can display the equation on the chart. So that's how it was calculated. If my actual's been going slowly down, what's my budget been doing? I'm going to click on a budget bar. I'm going to go to my green plus. I'm going to go to trend line. I'm going to ask for more options. And I'm going to ask for linear, and again, 6 months forward. And so, oops, now that actually did it for my actual. Excuse me, undo. So I'm going to click, close that, click on it. That's actual. Let me undo again. Okay, that's actual. That is my budget. Make sure you clicked on the right one. Then my green plus, then my legend, my trend line, then more options, linear and forward 6. There. And I will display the equation as well. So that is my trend line for my budget. My budget has been slowly going up. My actual expenditure has been slowly going down. And so that's what the forecast is highlighting. In fact, this one here, if I click it, I might decide to color it something more distinct like a purple and even a thicker purple there. And that's reflected in my legend. So that's my budget. And then this one, I might decide to format that to a blue like that. And so I can clearly see that that's my actual, yeah. So you can add trend lines as well. And now I want to move it. So chart design, move chart, make it an object inside of the finance dashboard, and okay. And what I will do is rearrange things. So I might actually pop that up there. And then pop this, oops, be very careful, undo. Be careful that you drag the chart and not parts of the chart. Stretch that out, stretch that down. Oops, not too far, too far. Yep, I've moved that part again. Bring this up. Okay. And so there I have my dashboard. So you can actually create charts and then move them onto a sheet, make that your dashboard. Then if I went Control P, all I do is make sure that it printed in landscape and that it printed to A3. And then if the person printed it, and then I'd make sure it fit to an A3 piece of paper. And so you would just juggle things accordingly so that it fit. If they should print onto an A3 piece of paper, resize, move, get things to sit properly. And you could even, now when you click on a particular chart, that's all it will print, is that chart. If I click away from that chart, let me just stretch this downwards. Actually, if I stretch that up and push that up, I can dedicate more space to this. And if I Control P, I've got that chart selected again. Click away from the chart, Control P, tell it to fit the sheet on one page. There. So that's an A3, and I'd actually make it narrow margins as well. So eventually you'll get this sorted that you've got a dashboard with all your charts on it. They print out one A3 piece of paper, and it's got all the details. As the data changes, the charts will automatically update and be current. They won't be out of date. I hope you've enjoyed that video. It sort of shows you how you can quickly create charts and how you can then quickly turn that into a dashboard without grid lines or without column headings. Have fun. Please like or subscribe and come back and watch some more videos. See ya. Bye.